Alright, so we just released the brand new bloodworm, and this is going to be a video on the movement, how to rig it, and just the kind of the movement underwater. Okay, so here we are at the test tank. The first and most obvious way to rig this thing is, of course, a drop shot. This down here, this is just a 16th ounce weight. That's some kind of barrel knot. I'm terrible at knots. I don't even know what it's called. And that is actually a Owner 1/0 mosquito hook. These right here, they're the best I've found for drop shot and wacky rigging. And you'll see that the bait is just nose hooked. So, were we to move this through the water, typically with a drop shot, you're going to wait till it hits the bottom. There we go, on the bottom. And then you're just going to kind of drag it, or maybe pop it, and you can see that that tail is just going crazy. There are ribs on the side of this bait, and those will move water in a very weird way, but this will definitely, and I've actually had success on this, trigger a strike. So again, we can see even a very small amount of movement on the rod will cause that tail to go crazy. There is also a filter that I have running, and if I just let it go, it will kind of pick up on the underwater current itself. See, I'm not moving that at all. It's completely on its own. So there you go. That is the drop shot, and probably one of the most effective ways to rig this bait. Alright, now the next way to rig this is on just a jig head. As seen, this is just this is actually a little heavy. This is a 1/4 ounce. I make these. You can't buy them yet. Maybe one day you will be able to buy them. But 1/4 ounce is way heavier than I normally use. I'd normally do like an 1/8 or a 16th. But for the purposes of demonstration, this will work perfectly fine. And basically, we can see when you take it in for a landing on a jig head, it is going to stand straight up on the bottom. Usually you would pop it, and you can see that tail is kind of sticking straight upright and just kind of waving a little bit on the bottom. So pop it, you can see the tail moving. If the tail catches underwater current, it will kind of just gently sway. So that's the second most viable method. Alright, now the third method is a hover rig, and I know a lot of you guys don't know what that is yet. If not, it's basically a weighted hook. It puts the weight kind of forward and in the belly of the bait, so it kind of does like a gentle gliding motion. Now, I do make these as well. Again, not selling them yet. Maybe at some point I will, but for right now I'm just making them for personal use. So, a hover rig, we can see once we get it over here, will make the bait gently glide downward. So we can see that again. It's kind of just gliding. And you can imagine in, 15 feet of water or something of that effect, how effective this glide could possibly be. As you can see, it's just going to glide down. That tail is going to kind of pulse water behind it. Very, very effective way to catch fish. Alright, now the fourth and probably weirdest way to rig this bait is actually going to be as a trailer. You can use this as a trailer on just a normal jig. That's what this is. Again, I do make these, just not selling them right now. I kind of took a break from them for a while because I was having some issues. But so on a jig, you could use it as a chatterbait actually also, and then a spinnerbait. And you can kind of use it as a very finessey type trailer. You can see as you swim it, if you're swimming like a jig, and especially if you're using a swim jig, you can see that tail kind of just pulses behind the actual bait. And then of course, what would the point of fishing a jig be if you're not going to fish it on the bottom, right? So we can see again the tail is standing straight up. We can see that the tail stands up as the rest of the silicone hairs kind of stay in position or lay flat. Now with a jig, most times you're going to like pop it. You can see that tail is kind of pulsing. Pop, pop, right? And another effective method of doing this is actually a drag. So you let the jig head hit the bottom, and then you're gonna drag it. So, and you can see that even on the drag, that tail is just going crazy. So there you go. There are the 4 most effective methods to rig this bait. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments.